Good morning and welcome to this weekly market update from MRC Markets. Today is the 20th of August 2012. What we're going to do today is go through some technical analysis on Euro dollar cable, dollar Swiss, dollar yen and gold. Basically just trying to give some sort of a weekly outlook for the week ahead. We'll also have a look at the Forex calendar. We're not making any trade calls or recommendations in this video. You trade at your own risk. If you could please read the full disclaimer on our website at www.mrcmarkets.com. For any new followers, we have 3 moving averages in each of these charts. The red one is a 55 simple, the purple is 100 simple, and the gold is a 200 simple moving average. Okay, let's have a look at Euro dollar. Just one chart I'm going to look at very briefly, this monthly chart. The main reason being is because we've reacted very well off a key level, and that is if you draw a fib from the low to the high. Sorry, I just need to change the colour of this fib a sec. It's on the default setting. Let's make it a little bit thicker. Doing this will show the prices up next to the fib levels. Okay then, so on this monthly chart you can see, so from the lows of the euro, which were 0.8225 to the highs at 1.6038, you can see last month's candle we pierced below the 50% level, also the 200 month moving average, and we popped back up, closed above it like we did around here in the middle of the chart, you can see. And now this month already we've come down, tested this 50% level pretty much to the tip, to the pip, and we're now bouncing back up. So in terms of the really longer term picture, still looking well. I mean the odds are towards the upside in terms of the technicals in this monthly chart, in my opinion. Anyway, we won't dwell too much on that monthly chart. We'll briefly have a look at the weekly chart as well. Last week's weekly candle, not really a convincing bullish candle. Nothing massively interesting in terms of this weekly chart. We're still miles away from the 55-week moving average. There's more interesting charts in terms of sort of weekly outlook as well. It's not dwell too much in terms of longer term time frames. What I am concerned about on this daily, you can see the first thing I look at is this 55-day moving average. You can see it's capping the pair. We did have a false breakout here. We had a daily candlestick close above this level, so you'd expect it to pop up and come and test the 100-day moving average, but it closed. But the next daily candle closed back below. Starts to sell off a bit, and we're now testing that again. It's reacting better. I mean, you see that candle there reacted to the pip. And it is holding sort of last 3 or 4 days of trading days. So if we're going to get any more momentum towards the upside, then we need a daily candlestick close above this 55-day moving average, and then the odds are for a test of this 100-day moving average, which stands at 1.2560. In terms of some trend lines, there's a couple of trend line resistances here on Euro dollar. The first one you can see is here. Just to change the colour of that. Yes, we've got one trend line resistance there, and a shorter term one, which you'll be able to see on the 4 hour. We have another one here as well. So both those are capping. You can also see they coincide with the 55-day moving average as well, and you can see that's capping quite well. We flip it to a shorter time frame, so the 4 hour. We also have a nice trend line support, just playing out well there. So yeah, it is acting very technically. And yeah, in terms of sort of the daily and the 4 hour, I'd definitely keep these up, because it's all about a break either side. I mean, you look at a 4 hour break either side or a daily. In terms of daily chart, you definitely want to be looking at a daily candlestick close, but in terms of through the week, I'll be looking for a 4 hour close personally. You can also see on this 4 hour chart how the 100 and the 55 bar moving averages working well there. in terms of supporting the pair. And on the 1 hour as well, you can see that 200 bar moving average on the wire just slicing through there and supporting the pair. But you can see the current 1 hour candle is starting to look a bit bearish, so not be surprised if we get well, if it closes like that, it'll look like it may sell off for the rest of the day. But yeah, in terms of euro dollar, that's what I'm focusing on this week. Okay, let's have a look at cable. First thing, always draw on the cable chart. Have to keep this in mind is that trendline support there, and the sort of trendline resistance around there, which is still in play. Nothing new really on cable. You can see it's still supported by this trendline support. And in terms of the moving averages, you've got the 200-week moving average there, which is capping it, so we need to get a weekly candlestick close above that. You can see it's starting to pop up a bit. But let's not dwell too much on the weekly charts. Have a look at the shorter term time frame. In terms of the daily, it's still all about the 157.50s, which we've spoken about numerous times now. It's still failed. We basically still haven't got the daily candlestick close above that for a while now. You can see it's holding this level. We have a spike there, which also coincides with that 200-day moving average, and also spikes around here, but we haven't had a daily candlestick close. So if we're going to get any sort of bullish momentum towards the upside, then I'll definitely be looking for a daily candlestick close above that. And then similar to euro, we've also got a shorter term trend line there, so it's just in between that sort of triangular formation really. So yeah, in terms of the daily chart, that's all I'll be looking for really, and even on the 4 hour, it's best to keep it the longer term perspective in order. I mean, you could draw another trend line support there on the 4 hour, but I mean, in terms of the daily, it looks like it may come back down to this bigger one. So yeah, if this one, I mean, if the shorter term one holds, and yeah, it looks like it may break towards the upside. But you can see all these sort of look at all these wicks around here. You can see, I suppose you could draw another trend line there, but you can see that all these sort of upper wicks here, people keep on selling at this this sort of channel here on the 4 hour. Very, very technical, this cable chart. Keep an eye out on that, but that's how I definitely have my chart set up this week in terms of the 4 hour and the daily. Okay, let's have a look at dollar Swiss. Nothing massively interesting on the Swiss, apart from that we are getting a 55-week moving average cross up of the 100-week moving average, so some would see that as a buying signal. In terms of the daily, it's just very, very similar to euro dollar really. As we've been speaking about the last few months, it has been mirroring the chart. So whatever euro's dollar been doing, dollar Swiss has been doing the complete opposite, and this is very proven. On euro dollar, we had two trend lines. We had two trend line resistances, and surprise, surprise, we have two trend line supports on this dollar Swiss chart. Literally complete mirror image. One other thing, I'm just trying to think in terms of fib setups. If we draw a fib from this sort of recent dip here to the highs, you can see that we are getting, if we zoom in, you can see we are getting support at this 50% level here. We've got a nice bounce right there, which also coincided with the 55-day moving average. So some very nice confluence support levels there. You've got the two trend line supports, you've got the 50% Fibonacci retracement, and you've also got the 55-day moving average. So the odds in terms of the daily chart for me would be towards the upside as long as this trend line support holds. It's all about sort of day. Well, today's daily candle is already pierced it, and we are getting a bounce up, so it looks like it will be supported. But that's definitely how I'd have my daily chart set up. Let's have a look at dollar yen. In terms of the weekly, nothing much really. Been quite sort of choppy as the last sort of few weeks. Nothing massively interesting. Although I suppose last week we got a huge bearish engulfing, a bullish engulfing candle, which will be much clearer on the daily chart. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago. The sort of 78 handle was the key support on dollar yen. You can see we've got a bid up there from that level, and also around here we've got multiple tests of this 78 support, and we're now I mean, last week was pretty much, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 daily candles. That's all last week. It was just going up and up, but you can now see we're getting stuck at this 200-day moving average on this dollar yen chart. So if we're going to keep on continuing to go towards the upside, then we need a clear daily candlestick close above that level In terms of buying opportunities, a lot of people will be drawing a fib from the low towards the highs there. You can see it clear on the 4 hour. Let's tidy up this fib a bit. So yes, you've got the low there, which is at 77.91, and the high is at 79.65. That's the fib I'd keep an eye out for. If any sort of healthy retracements down to this 50% level, and most probably if it does come down to that level, then you'd also have confidence support of the 55 bar moving average and 100 bar moving average. So yeah, interesting chart, Dolly. Not as interesting as Euro and cable, in my opinion, but still an interesting chart, which is with plenty of trading opportunities. Okay, let's done with the forex. Have a look at gold. On this weekly, same story really. You have to keep the bigger picture in mind. In terms of the weekly, we're still holding that long trendline support all the way from 2008, which is also coincided with the 100-week moving average. And yeah, I mean, look at all these sort of the high lows here, all these wiki candles. Last week's candle, pretty much continuation pattern there with the long lower wick. Looks like it wants to come up and test this 55-week moving average, which is at 1675. I mean, the amount of times we spoke about these 1560s level was the key level on the weekly, where that was the time there where we it looks like it wanted to get a candlestick close below it, and it didn't, and then multiple times around there we pierced this level and failed to get a weekly candlestick close below it. If you look at the shorter term picture, just tie up that trend line a bit. The resistance for me is still 1630s. Similar to cable, really, a very similar looking chart. And if you just quickly flip towards Euro and cable, let's just get rid of that short, very sort of symmetrical triangle pattern there. Euro, that's the Euro chart there, and then no, that's the cable chart there, and then gold. Very similar pattern there. And yeah, it's just all about a break either side and daily candlestick close, really. You can see we got support at the 55-day and the 100-day moving average there on gold, and it looks like we may finally break above this sort of 1630s, but it is all about that level for me. And then if we do get above that, then we've got that 100-day moving average, which 200-day moving average, which is flattening out at pretty much 1640s there. Okay, that's done for the charts. Let's have a look at the forex calendar. Very quiet day today, pretty much no news out. Tomorrow, headline news out of UK with the public sector net borrowing figures. On Wednesday we have Canadian retail sales at 1:30. At 3 PM we have US existing home sales, and at 7 PM on Wednesday, key headline news will be the FOMC meeting minutes. Keep an eye on that. Will be very volatile. Everyone will be waiting to see what Bernanke has to say. On Thursday we have some overnight data, HSBC flash manufacturing PMI, very key in terms of risk appetite, so keep an eye on Euro, Dollar and Aussie on that. And we have a lot of PMI numbers out from between 8 AM and 9 AM out from France, Germany and the general Eurozone numbers as well. At the US at 1:30, key economic data with the weekly jobless claims forecast at 365,000 from the previous 366,000, so no change expected there. And at 3 PM we have the US new home sales. We're forecasting a bit, well not we, but the forecast number is expected to be better at 362,000 from the previous 350,000. And on Friday we have some overnight Aussie, we have the Governor Stevens speaking at 9:30. Probably the headline data for the week really is the UK revised GDP numbers. Definitely will be in focus because the last month's numbers before the Olympics were awful at minus 0.7%. We're expecting a slightly better number, maybe because of the Olympics, at minus 0.5%. To finish off the week in terms of headline data with the US core durable goods orders numbers month on month, forecasted at plus 0.5% from the previously shocking numbers at minus 1.4%. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you have hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you have a great week trading, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening.